Welcome to Tournament in a TeaBreak. We've decided to step outside just for a bit of fresh air because, not surprisingly, we're feeling a little bit giddy. It's Ros Satar, of course, but today you've got a bit of a treat because guess who's back?
It's George Bellshaw.
Hurrah! In the absence of Chris Otto, we have George joining us, and it's been a bit of a day. Where do we start? Let's start with Cilic.
Yeah, I was going to say we should start with the third seeds who have ruined my life today. So, Marin Cilic was bizarrely ousted by Guido Pella, a man who'd never reached a third round of a Grand Slam, a man who was 2 sets down to Cilic yesterday. Cilic, the only man who could possibly challenge Roger Federer in that half of the draw. Yes, you may think I am ranting, and you are right. Today has been a huge day of bizarre upsets, and I'm very cross with both of them, really.
The funny thing is, we sit in a small and very nice little writing room where basically it's quite a happy band. Not many people grumble at each other, and basically what happens is that George gets a bee in his bonnet, starts yelling about how this is totally unacceptable. And then we all get on with the rest of the day. So
the room quickly clears out whenever that happens.
So Cilic started the whole thing off. So basically, obviously they were playing last night. The rain came down. They came back on. They futzed about for a bit, then went off again, then came out. Then Cilic got himself broken, and then they all went off with the rain, and that was that. And they started in the morning. I think they were first on in the morning, weren't they?
Yes, they were. Because it was court 1, so they started at 1 p.m. Yeah.
So they were first on in the morning. And basically, Cilic got himself, lost the set.
Yep.
And then proceeded to wave goodbye to Wimbledon. And it is unfortunate because, honestly, he'd been flying under the radar. Everybody had him picked as, like you say, the only person that could actually challenge Federer in that particular section. And now, I think it's safe to say that whole part of the draw has been blown wide open.
I mean, I've closed my eyes.
He's trying to find his Zen light.
I'm trying to find a positive to take from Marin Cilic going out this draw, and I don't mean to get angry, but I get very disappointed sometimes when draws fall like this. You know, when you've got Kyrgios, you've got Djokovic, you've got Nadal, you've got Del Potro, you've got Zverev, you've got all these guys who would make excellent semi-finalists in one half section of a draw. And it's great to have great last 16 ties. It's great to have good quarterfinals. But on the other half of the draw, with Marin Cilic out, it's just disappointing. And the order of play tomorrow is frankly embarrassing.
Yeah, it's very baffling.
On both sides. And you've just got 2 halves of a draw on one day that just aren't worth watching.
Yeah.
People will tune in to watch Roger Federer spank some people, and they'll tune in to Serena Williams spank some people. But it's not interesting. It's not exciting, you know, and that really disappoints me, A, to cover it, but B, just for an excitement and wider appeal thing. I'm really disappointed we won't see Cilic, who's played so well over the last year on grass against Federer. So, I'm not angry. I'm more upset, really. I just lash out.
And while we're on the subject of lashing out, of course, we then lost Muguruza right at the end of the day.
Now, this time I am angry. This time has nothing to do with being upset. That was just disgraceful. Going out, what time did she go out?
It was about
10 to 9? 5 to 9?
About that.
But, that match just looked like, Van Uytvanck kind of levelled the second set, having lost the first. And, Van Uytvanck, I was told it said upstairs.
Alison, let's just settle with Alison, shall we?
She, she played a great match from start to finish. She really pushed Muguruza hard in the first set. The second set, she sort of raised her level. Muguruza looked like she was letting it go, but at that stage, you're kind of thinking, right, this is going to be tough to finish. What's going on? And then Muguruza just collapsed again.
Yeah, I just wonder whether that slip actually also just upended her a little bit. After that, she really wasn't the same again. And of course, at this time of night, it is getting dewy. It's not. It's not quite this slippery ice rink that we're used to in on the warm up tournaments. But it does get a little bit skatey rinky.
If I was her, I'd be furious. I was out on court 2.
Yeah.
I'm 5 matches on that day. I mean, that for me was pretty disrespectful from Wimbledon for a defending champion. I mean, Novak being out there as well, I thought was a bit of a joke, considering Zverev and Fritz have won 8 matches between them.
And that was...
Djokovic took it pretty well, impressed, to be fair to him. He was quite jolly about the whole thing and said it's actually a good plan to promote the kind of next gen, etc., etc. But I do tend to agree with Fognini, which is the first and the last time I say that a lot of this next gen initiative is getting a little bit too overstated in Grand Slams in terms of scheduling. That's my opinion. That's
fair enough. And then so that was like the big things that happened today. Where else are we going to focus our glare? Well, there isn't really much to focus. I mean, Kyle Edmund's gone through...
To play Novak?
Yeah, it was an odd thing. I thought he was going to do better against Klan, but you know, it was quite a tricky match for him. I think what it was Klan stayed with him well, and then Edmund just lifted his game as and when he needed to.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch that match from start to finish. For the bits I saw, he was lefty with a half-decent serve. Yeah. And I guess from Edmund's perspective, is there that much footage of Klan out there? Is there much you can learn about him? Like, he's 168 in the
I have
world.
An American journalist staying in my house and not even he could, like, give me any information about Klan.
I hadn't heard of this guy before today, which, you know, I probably shouldn't admit, but it's a tough one to prepare for, maybe.
But that's the thing now. Edmund's had 2 qualifiers in a row, and now he's going to have Novak Djokovic, who's returning to form. So
but
it's
Djokovic
going to be...
did have a slip, eh?
Yeah, so he's a little bit worried about his knee, but of course... Kyle is the last man standing in the singles, I hasten to add, because we have very keen-eyed listeners who will tell us off if we don't say that there's like doubles players. So anyway,
and we're good at doubles.
We are good at doubles when we can get them on. Unfortunately, Jamie and Bruno were taken off the schedule, which was a bit annoying. But anyway, I digress. Joe Conter went out to a very feisty Dominika Cibulkova, and so we came to the conclusion that the only person that got absolutely screwed by the seeding decision to give Serena a seed was not actually Cibulkova, who lost her seeding, but Joe, who ended up facing her in the second round.
I like to think Cibulkova is laughing evilly tonight, thinking she got the ultimate revenge on the All England club, and it's beautiful poetic justice.
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it.
She played bloody well.
Yeah,
she played really, really well.
Well, she's a two-time. See, that's what Shandy does for you. She's a 2-time quarterfinalist here. She's won the WTA finals. You know, she's not a bad person. So, you know, she's not a bad player. So, you know, I think we could look out for her in a deep run. And again, this section, this half, has kind of blown itself a little bit open.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately for Cibulkova, I still think she's...
You think she's a bit too short
I think she's she's lodged in the tougher half of the draw. If this was in the opposite half of the draw, I'd be saying, yeah, she can reach the final because there's no one there. But apart from Serena.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, why is that significant?
Slide dig at the other half of the draw. No, I'm
all here for a Cibulkova-Serena final.
I mean, yeah, it would... There's no way on earth we're going to get a Cibulkova-Serena Williams final, but I'd be very up for
it. Okay. Well, as we pretty much established, the order of play tomorrow is pretty dire. I mean, if you had a ticket for centre court, you'd probably feel a little bit cheated, no?
I mean, I wasn't particularly impressed by the centre court programme today, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I didn't think Edmund Klein deserved to be on centre court, but tomorrow you've got Sam Querrey against Gael Monfils as a 3rd round Grand Slam match on centre court. Now, I'm quite young, but I cannot remember in my 10 years of watching tennis a weaker 3rd round Grand Slam match on the top court in the 3rd round. Third round, the last 32. You're telling me you can't find 2 better players than that?
Yeah, but have you looked at the rest of the draw? It's not.
Venus
great.
Should be up on centre.
Okay,
tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Venus should be up on centre, but it's not so much a point of, hey, that's a bad pick of all these matches on. It's reiterating the earlier point. Yeah. It's a horrible day tomorrow. Yeah. It's really like.
Well, I look at it on the point of view that we're going to catch up.
It's going to be fun to watch and lots of fun, different matches. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's just horrible in terms of a scheduling perspective compared to, you know, realistically, you got people like Kyrgios are going to be out on 3 again the next day.
Yeah.
He would have been on centre if he's on that other half.
Yeah, true. Very true.
It's interesting. It's always fun, scheduling dilemmas.
Yeah, I mean, like everybody, we're experts until we actually have to try and do that for ourselves.
Well, I wouldn't want to schedule tomorrow because I wouldn't know where to put any of them. They all belong on court 18.
We did figure that we ought to put Federer on court 2 and then send him off with a sat nav. I've heard Waze is really good, actually. We should give him that.
I'd like to at this point apologise because I realise I've just sat here moaning for the entire 10-15 minutes. I'm normally quite cheery, but I was really cross about having to write about Muguruza this late going out.
Well, I think on that note, we're going. I mean, let me say on behalf of Britwatch and all of our listeners, it's so good to have you back again. Really, I must do this again more often. I can't wait to have you back on the podcast. However, you have been listening to. I can't even say I'm tipsy because I've only had like a half a shandy because that's what George ordered for me. A shandy.
That's what you said
shandy.
You wanted.
Right. Anyway, you have of course been listening to Ros Satar from Britwatch Sports.
And George Bellshaw, the grumpy man from metro.co.uk.
Thank you for listening to our indulgent rambling, and I assure you that normal service with Chris Oddo will be resumed tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not coming back.
Thank you for listening.